Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in. You are watching Christian Adventure Gamer. I am your host, Daniel the Paladin, and we are going to continue painting these miniatures for Talisman Harry Potter, or it's so much easier just to say Harry Potter Talisman, really. So that's what I'm going to say, Harry Potter Talisman. In my previous video, I was painting Bellatrix Lestrange, Draco Malfoy, and Lucius Malfoy. I got to the point where I'm ready to do their hair, and I'm also ready to do the ground that they're standing on, some dry brushing, and hopefully finish them off. So let's go down to picture in picture. So there we are. So, all right. I'm going to get my visor on. Don't mind me as I knock into the other camera here that I have set up so you can see me painting. Tighten that down. I need to get a new visor. So, there we go. Got myself something to drink. Arizona tea is not a sponsor. I'm just thirsty and I have these in my garage, so. Alright, so I'm going to turn down the gain on this mic a little bit. That way it doesn't blow out your eardrums or nothing. So, let's go ahead and turn this light back on. There we go. Definitely need a headlamp. Alright, so let's look at Draco for a second. Looks like the paint has dried on his nose a little bit and shrunk. That's okay. I think the wash will help blend it in. But let's do his hair. So I want like a darker gray on it. So I think like there's light gray, there's sky gray. I think this would be almost pitch black. So I will go with it looks like the lighter gray is actually darker than the sky gray. Let me shake these up and see if they contrast a little bit. Oops, the light gray is definitely darker. So, got my wet palette over here. Can't see it, but it's right here. There we go. So I want to lightly be going over his hair. And I'll do the same thing with Lucius as well. So I think this brush should be better because it's not that wide. It's about pushing the hair. Pushing the paint over the hair, I mean. So I'm putting the gray as a base coat, if you were wondering why I'm not just going straight to like white or blonde. So I wanted something for an undertone. This looks like it's going to be working. I have to touch up his collar. That's okay though. Now his hair is going to be a little more challenging because it's longer and actually flows over onto things. Oops. Got a little bit on his face. That's okay though. Alright. His hair is there. So I think with her, though, I can actually take some of this color and start to dry brush her hair with it, because of, like, obviously that's the color I'm looking for. So I think this brush here is going to be best because it's the smallest one I got. So I'll get a little something on there. Just kind of go here and beat it in here. And I only want to do it in certain areas. I'm going to focus heavily, like, right by her face, you know, right by her. Yeah, looks good. Alright, so now I can get some of that blue I was talking about and kind of blend it into her vest. So, I think I'll go with this Sotek green. I think that would be perfect for that. Make sure I get all the paint off that. There we go. Just beat that in there. Beat that into the brush. I don't want a whole lot of color on there. I gotta get it off as best as I can. Looks pretty good there. It's still a little thick. I still got a little too much on there. A little too much. Just take a paper towel and wipe off the excess. And that's the best way to get it off. That's the right color I'm looking for, though, that's for sure. Let's try again. Yep, this is definitely the color I'm looking for. I think it looks, not, I mean, it's a little heavier in some spots, but I think it'll be okay. Because that wash is going to hide a lot of that, so I'll let it go up and down if I can. Alright, so time for that creamy ivory. What I need. Let's move these brushes out of the way. Get rid of this one. Trying to look over there and see if there's any other brushes that are smaller. This is about, if I had something about half the size of that, that'd be perfect. I have this brush here, but I do not want to use that for dry brushing. Alright, so let's get some of that creamy ivory. Actually, I had linen white out here earlier. Ah, this would be perfect for her outfit. There we go. Don't need a whole lot. just on the tip. Just kind of blend it in there. Blend it in there. There we go. Just trying to get the ridges of her skirt. I don't want to get into her skirt. I'm going to get her armor, or at least their sleeves, or whatever. It looks like armor, almost, you know. So. Alright, so now I'm ready for her ground. So I'm looking for a brown. Guess I can use that one. Sandy brown, but I was looking for something a little more depth to it, but it's alright. Yeah, I'll mix it in with this gray. Just has a little more depth to it. It's actually a shadow, or dark shadow. It's right here. Yeah, I'll blend that in there. There we go. I can blend those. There we go. I'll use the whiter brush. Get a little of that gray in there too. Pushing the paint around, pushing it around her shoe. I'm going to take some more of that shadow. What did I do with it? Sandy brown. There it is, dark shadow. Add some more to that. Actually, I'm going to go around other spots. It's going to give it giving it a layered look, you know. Should I go around the rocks? So the rocks are more gray and protrude. So, I don't know if you can hear my daughter crying. Hopefully you can't. There we go. I can live with the way her shoes look. Alright, so Malfoy looks like he's standing on dirt too, so get more of that sandy brown mixed with that brown. that sandy brown in there. There we go. And obviously when I add wash to this, I'll add that Seraphim Sepia because it has like a brownish, reddish tint to it. So taking some of that darker and just kind of blotching it in there. Because when that when the wash hits it, I was just going to blend it. Alright. He looks like he's standing more on concrete, so I'm not going to worry about that just yet. So I need to close this before I end up spilling it. Make sure I clean this off. So she is about done. I think I can go around her base some more. Get the edge of the actual mount that she's standing on so it doesn't look so disproportionate. Because I can just go around the rim, the outside rim of the base itself, the bottom part, and just paint that black and seal it in. That should be fine. That's what I usually do. Alright. So she's drying. Let's look at his hair. His hair's dry enough. Good. So, I'm going to take some of that. So I got sun yellow and canary yellow. So let's shake them up and see which one I want to use first. Because I'm going to end up blending it with probably that linen white, actually. Maybe I can blend it with some straight white. I got ivory. Actually, that'd be great to blend it with. Alright, so canary yellow is more of a straight yellow, and the other one's more of a bright, I was just said sun yellow, so I think I'll go with canary. Oh, come on. So there's that. Ivory. So the Reaper paints, like, they always get clogged at the tip, and I hate that. I just hate that about them. Wish they didn't. So I'm going to use this to stir it. Looks like I'm going to need some more ivory in there, maybe. Maybe, I don't know. Actually, I think what I'm going to do is take this and paint Lucius's hair with it. And then I'll add more ivory to it for Actually, let's see here. For Draco's, I'm going to do a test. Is this the brush I want? No, too thin. Let's do this one. There he is. That might work. Yeah, that'll work. Dig it. Do some touching up on his face again. That's okay. Touching up on his cloak, I guess you'd call it. Yeah, I'm glad I did that gray underneath. I think it's really causing it to blend in really good. Yeah. So. You can see here. Here looks pretty good. He's got some touching up on his face I gotta do though. The reason I have to do so much touch-up is because my nerves are shot and I shake a lot. So I don't mind doing touch-up because I still want a good-looking miniature. Alright, so creamy ivory. Mix in some more. Sorry, I said creamy ivory, that's just straight-up ivory. A little too much ivory, but... Oh, there it is. Pushing the paint. There we go, that looks good. Alright. Let's check Bellatrix Lestrange and see if there's anything I need to touch up on her before I start washing her. Because she is ready to be washed, I think. I think she's ready to be washed. I think what I'm going to do is take some more of that gray, though, and give her some more gray spots. I'm going to focus in some areas heavier than others. Right in front of her face. I just want a little more gray. Maybe put some linen in there too. So I'll start with her feet to give her hair a little time to dry. Because dry brushing doesn't really take a whole lot of time to dry. Obviously because it's being forced on there. So Seraphim Sepia. There we go. And I'll do a little heavier on the rocks around her shoes and stuff. When it fills in the cracks. Take some, get it off. It's kind of pulling in some areas. So. That dry. Let's take a look at Draco. Right. Waiting for those things to dry. Alright. Now touching up the black on Lucius. Got a good shake. Alright, so I want a thinner brush because I gotta push paint in small places, like right around his hairlines and stuff like that. Right around his wrist where I got some skin tone on accident. Right around his hood. All right. That was pretty simple. Let me look right around this wrist here. I see. That's good. I should probably check Draco too, since that part of him is not drying. See what I need to touch up. Obviously, there's a lot on his shoulder. His collar. Not too bad, actually, for him. And then you get some skin tone. So I think I can do that. Right. So I need the vampiric and the fair maiden. Or the maiden flesh. Maiden flesh. Brush on sealer should be over here. Ivory. Pure white. There it is. Give these things a good shake. Putting them next to each other so I can mix them. So for Draco, I need to get his ears. I'm going to get the tip of his nose because the paint dried and shrunk. Left a little hole. See a bit on his arm that shrunk. Alright. Now for Lucius, he has a little more tan to his skin, so it's okay if I have more of the maiden. Because he is kind of girly. I said what I said. There we go. He's better. While they're drying there, I'll go ahead and get some Nolan oil on Bellatrix. So I'll close the black. I'd have it leaving the black open. Nolan oil. My favorite color, my favorite gloss or oil shade to use. So this one I'm going to apply somewhat thin. I'll use this brush here. Dip it in water. Bring it out. Start at our head, work down. Yeah, a little more thickness too. Some areas. Dip it in water. Thin it out. Spread it. Get some off. Pull from our face. You don't want to get it on our hands. Yeah, pull it off her face so I can see her eyes. Another from her neck. Out of her hair. Keep pushing it down because it will pool. Not pool, like a swimming pool, you know. And it will look hideous when it dries. So you got to make sure that you don't let it pool in certain areas that you don't want it to pool in. Like obviously you want to make sure it gets in your fingertips, things like that. What I do is dab it and then tap it onto a paper towel, get the excess off. And I get it on the underside of her hand too, you know. She looked pretty good. It's pulling right in her hood. So I'm going to pull that out of there. Trying to get it to pull more on her hands. The sculpt, whoever did the sculpt on her hands didn't put enough definition between the fingers, so that's what I'm trying to do, is make sure there's plenty of definition there. Looks like I might need to touch up her wand a little bit, but that'd be fine. If that's the only thing I have to do, touch her up, I'm okay with that. So she is done. Alright. Alright, so where am I with Lucius? I know I need to do his ground before I do his wash, because obviously I need to dry brush him as well. I need some of that stormy gray that I seen earlier. Weathered stone will work. There we go. I think Draco is about done, ready to be washed. So, I think this brush would be the best one to use for his base. Push the paint right underneath his feet. Looks like I need to get his shoe black again. Touched it with a little bit of gray, but that's okay. So I can get some of this brown on here. And touch up her wand. Trying to get the darker brown. What happened to it? Move things around too much. Do that. There we go. I'm using up all my Reaper paints before I go out and buy all Vallejo paints. Kind of give it some highlight too. Looks like there's a hair that wasn't colored black. So I'll take this black paint again. Get that finer brush. A little black on it. Got it. Awesome. She is done. Good. I don't know why I did that for. I need the black because I just talked about doing his shoe. I like having a couple miniatures going at one time. That way I can work on it and stop. It needs to dry and start working on another one. So I'm constantly moving them around. Okay, so he can finish drying. Draco's ready to be dry brushed first before I actually wash him. I don't want to be skipping steps, you know. So I need some more of this linen white. I'm going to use my little palette here. Get some of this in there. Because that sponge will soak it up, and that's something I don't want it to do, because I don't want to use a whole lot, since I don't have a whole lot left. I can actually add a little bit of ivory to get a little more whiteness. Alright, so I'll use this one. So I'll move her actually off the map here while she can completely dry, then I can just stain her. I just want to go over some of the creases. I don't want to hit him too much. Oops, too much on his leg. This is just going to give him definition. This is perfect. That's the right amount of paint I need on that brush. It's a little too much on his leg there. So I can't go some off. There we go. Yeah, looks good. A little dry brushing to the base too. If I can't give it some depth, because that's going to be. I think I already put wash on that, so that's good there. Yep. All right. He's looking pretty good right now. So now we just need some Nolan oil. And for him, I'm gonna use it just a little bit thicker, so I don't, I just want it to be able to pool in certain areas. Since I noticed that some of the miniatures aren't, they don't have as much depth in their detail, So. Make sure it gets soaking up well. This will be the last step for him. Kind of just dab it in areas where I really want there to be some depth in it. I gotta start pulling off those areas before it starts pulling. Out of his eyes. It looks like he's got black eyes. There we go. There we go. He is all done. I'll get right around his hand with the wand again. Just because I want there to be more depth there. I want to pull a little bit. Alright, he is all done. So I'm going to move him over here so he can dry. Alright, so now we got Lucius. We're going to do Lucius. So, man, he's got that design. So I'm hoping that the dry brushing can actually bring that out. So we'll try some more on him. I'll make it a little heavier just right there on the, I guess, what do you call that? Like right there on the edges of his robe.
Let's see how that looks. Because there's some other things I could do to try to get that in there that I really hate to use. Like where I take paint on the edge of a brush and kind of like try to just use the brush aside to move the paint on just on top of those ridges. So I'm hoping that the Nolan oil will actually fall into the gaps there and cause all that to pop. So now I want to just get some more dry brush or some more of the paint further into the bristles and just try to beat it out of there a little bit better, a little bit more, because it does need to be very heavy now. I just want it a little heavier right there on those edges. I guess I don't really mind if it goes all over him. The only place I do mind, kinda, is right there, that snake head. Like it can get on his wand, it can get on his hand. He's older. I really want to focus on the rim of his cloak there. Pants. Yeah, looking pretty good. A little snazzy there, Lucius. Get the back of your hand a little bit there, don't I? Give me a little more paint. Check out the base a little bit. It's going to be black with Nolan oil. Just got 2 miniatures done earlier. So now it's going to be another 3. That leaves me with only 4 more to do before Christmas. All right. Blow on a little bit. All right, Nolan oil. I want a little bit of a whiter brush this time. Let's do this one. So I want to dab it onto areas where I want it to just pool first. So like his hands, his face, his hair, the cloak, right there where I was hoping to get that white to pop, you know, right there. So that's what I'm going to try to do, is get it to pop in those areas first. Let it soak in there a little bit. And I'm going to start moving around. Get it out of the hood. Looks like some of that embroidery work actually went up and back towards the back of his cloak, which I didn't realize. So let's see how it turns out, and then I may dry brush that area again and apply some more wash. So, no, actually, it's doing exactly what I hoped it would with the wash. So it's filling in right there. So now I need to get it out of his eyes, even though he pretty much deserves black eyes. Maybe the back of his hands. Let's get to pull there a little bit. I'm okay if it kind of stays in his hair a little bit. There we go. So he's actually done, but I'll go ahead and do that dry brushing again onto right here. Let's get a different brush. So right back here, it follows that what looks like some kind of embroidery work on his cloak. So I'm gonna go back and dry brush that real quick, and then just do the same thing because actually I like the way it turned out. It makes it almost look silver instead of white. Let's see here. And then all he needs to do is be dried and sealed, and that's it, you know. So I'm gonna stop there. So thank you for tuning in. Hopefully you're enjoying these videos. Feel free to leave comments or email me directly at christianadventure.com. christianadventure@gmail.com, and let me know if this is something you're liking and if this is something you want more of. So hey, thanks for tuning in. See you guys next time.